This, somewhat, well, actually, across the board advice I always have is not to be overly competitive. That the tracks force you to compete. Mm-hmm. So you compete, you win, you cycle and repeat, and you need to find something where you're not always just looking at the people around you, and you have some other reference point. This is sort of more of a religious cut on this, but I'm always struck by how the Ten Commandments, they're sort of they're kind of the first and last in some sense are maybe the important ones, the end ones. The first one is you should only look to God. There's only one God, and you should worship Him. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is you shouldn't covet anything that belongs to your neighbor, and so that you shouldn't look at the people around you too much, and so we need to find some way to look up, and not to look around, because when we look around, it's not that we figure out what to do. It just ends up being the hyper copycat, mimetic, crazed environment, and that's so it's always there needs to be more of a. You need to find some transcendence. I think this is what's powerful about the Peterson message. It's it can't just be fashion. It can't just be what everybody thinks, because that's just you're just going to be competing with people like crazy.
Yeah, there's a literal metaphor here in that we're always looking down on our phones while you're telling us to look up. So.
We're looking too much at the people around us, and it can be efficient, it can be a shortcut, and then at some point it can just be a trap, because if it's like there's a business school example I often give where. You can think of Harvard Business School or any of these business schools as hothouse environments in which you have a bunch of people. They have no transcendent reference point. They have no idea what they want to do. They're all sort of extroverted. They all spend 2 years talking to each other about what to do. They don't have any ideas, and there's almost a dynamic where you end up with the most faddish and the most wrong idea being the consensus choice for so many of these people, and that's always a dynamic to try to avoid.
Yeah. I don't know how to end an interview better than that. I'm so glad that we finally got to do this. I was thinking before I sat down with you, where do I point people to with Peter Thiel? And I could point them to your companies and everywhere else. But then I thought, you know what? The guy's only tweeted once. And that's probably the best place I could point people to, because these days everyone's fighting on Twitter, and you only tweeted one time. So I'll look at the camera, follow Peter on the Twitter @PeterThiel, unless you want me to point them somewhere else.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's been a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot.